What's going on, everybody? Katie here, and welcome back to the 8th official episode of the King Darius Experience. I have been stoked on the pace that we have been putting content out and then distributing and atomizing that content like we talked about yesterday, because one of the things I really want to push forward as we are growing all things sacred global is not only practicing what we preach, but practicing what we preach with more than just the leader of the company. So I'm trying to get everybody on my team involved, as well as all of the creators that we're gathering right now involved on the same level of content creation, consistent content creation, and the atomization of those things. Because I really do believe that if you are a creator and you have things that are important to you, you should talk about them. You should create content around them. You should build infrastructure around them. And if you have the means to do so, you should build solutions around them too. And we're going to talk a little bit about the opportunity that I believe that all creators, especially the ones that are business minded or have an entrepreneurial spirit, have right now during the pandemic, which sounds a little bit, tone deaf or insensitive. And I know there's anomaly cases and there's a lot of situations where that's not the case for people, but a vast majority of people who are somewhat stable or actually stable or have a good support system or have things going for them, or at least have ideas, and they're not financially struggling or broken or don't have a place to stay or some of the 1,000 things, or they don't have their health right now. A lot of people don't have all of those issues and they have great opportunity, and this is not the time to mishandle that. So let's hop right into this episode so we can talk about some of that and how that comes into fruition. So the first thing I wanted to say is that I truly believe that creators need to be on the front lines of everything that is progressively and innovatively happening in the world, especially coming through the transition that the world is going through right now. Creators have solutions. Creators have ideas. Creators have things that could add, enhance, shift, and overall improve life as we experience it, from all forms of content, from and all forms of solutions as well, from entertainment to media to music to healthcare to any industry you can think of. I really believe this is the time in this generation, or in humanity, or whatever you want to call it, this era, if you will, where creators are to step up and be what they're supposed to be. And that cross section between the creator world and the business world is going to start to be dissipate a little bit. And all of a sudden, you're going to see an acceleration with creators. And I think that's extremely exciting because this is kind of funny. But I truly believe that creators who know operations, strategy, and business development will be the most successful people in the world. And not by, clenched fists or what they can do to build their kingdom, because I believe that selfless creators are the ones that will be elevated. Selfless creators who relentlessly and consistently create things for the betterment of this world and to help other people, and that is entertaining and equally giving them freedom to create more things that they love and get energy from. That's going to be what wins out of this, because all of the facades, all of the systems, all of the infrastructures that we thought were working, they're being shaken. And anytime you shake something, the stuff that's not secure falls off, right? And you're only left with the outline or the infrastructure or the skeleton of what was. So the only things that survive through this are stable things, stable minds, stable people, stable organizations, stable ideas. And I think it's time to execute against those things. But the reason why we haven't seen creators win in the way that I believe they should historically, and let me move this mic over slightly so I don't have to look too far to the right. We haven't seen creators advance in the way, at least that I think they could in the past, because a lot of creators don't know the business world. They don't know systems, strategy, business development. They don't know the things it takes to actually monetize and get more attention off of their ideas. So they either sit in the back burner or they sit behind brands and organizations and leaders that don't fully know what to do with a creator, and or if they do have creators that are being maximized, they don't know how to replicate what's working with creation, because every creation itself is very innovative. It's always new in nature. Like, you're never repeating the same thing over and over again, right? So I think that's something that is going to change, and we're going to see advance here as we come out of this, or at least shift away from the peak of the pandemic. That being said, now is the time to be building your content storehouse. Now is the time to be building your solution storehouse, to be building out your frameworks, to be building out your systems and processes, because there's more organic attention than there ever has been. It's astronomical. Paid attention is cheaper than it's ever been, right? There's opportunity everywhere, and there's white spaces and gaps and holes in things at a number and level and volume we've never seen before, which means not only was there opportunity before, because, you know, especially if you live in America or not companies, countries that are better off or have, you know, good infrastructure and opportunity for entrepreneurs and businesses and creators. But now we're coming through or traveling through a pandemic, which means there's even more opportunity to position things that work for people and help people and give you life. So if you're not spending every day figuring out how this could be your time, then you're gonna miss it really quick. The pandemic could completely change your life forever as a creator, especially if you're not extremely vulnerable right now. So I apologize if it sounds insensitive to anybody who is vulnerable or doesn't have their health, or, you know, has lost a loved one, and or a loved one has just lost their health but they're still with us. Any of those negative things, you know, named and unnamed, that could be happening, that's the exception, that's the anomaly. You know, those people need help, those people need taken care of, and I'm continually thinking of and praying for the people that are less fortunate. But those who are even have an ounce of stability, that aren't worried about what they're eating this week, what they're, you know, where they're staying, they're not worried about losing their health, you should be waking up every day and taking advantage of this opportunity. I want to see you win. You should want to see yourself win. So now's your time to build up your content storehouse. Now's the time to learn what it takes operationally to run a thing, grow a thing, strategically, right? Through business development, through networking, creating opportunities, because you will not find a more prime time to build something. If you actually have the business gene in you, if you actually have the entrepreneurial gene in you, there's not a better time, if you have some level of stability, to grow a brand, an idea, a solution, a content storehouse. Now is the most optimal time to do that. So I hope you take that and run with it. I hope that it empowers you or awakens you a little bit to think about the things that you could be creating, or things that have been on the back burner that you need to revisit, that you need to enhance a little bit before you position them, you know, online in the digital space or in the market. But there's a lot of people that need help right now, brands, organizations, people, whatever, but they're all humans. And as a creator, you probably have something that could help somebody. So if you have any questions, reach out to me. I'm Hell King Darius on all platforms, Derek at Sacred Global. If you want your question answered in the show, I have a couple questions waiting to be answered in the show, editorial at sacredglobal.com. But other than that, I'm going to go ahead and play 20-30 seconds of one of my latest drops, and we will see you tomorrow on episode 9 of the King Darius Experience.
We just living wealthy because we blessed. We just living wealthy because we blessed. They have the illusion of success. We just living wealthy because we blessed.
It's time we sending the records, we staking the claim. Yeah, we staking the claim. We let the women assemble, we put them to shame. Yeah, we put them to shame. They make the feminine tremble, but we not the same.